So this video is for the first time taxi drivers. If you are getting into this industry for your very, very first time, I want to give you a few advice that will help you to hold on, to stay strong, and not to lose faith as you do this business of taxi driving. I know this business has been marred or has been associated with a lot of negativities. Actually, when you talk to any taxi driver, when you pick your ride, majority of them will not admit to you that the business is good in any way. They will just tell you it is very difficult, it is, it's not profitable. But if you ask them for how long they have been here, they will tell you they have been here for a good number of years. So let me tell you one thing. I have said this many times before, that this taxi business was conceived for car owners. If you don't own a car, or if you have a car that belongs to a partner, or a car that is yours but you have bought it on loan, you are not yet the target person for this business of taxi business. Because these companies, the way they have structured their pricing, they took into consideration only people who own the car. Because the money they give for every trip some people will say it is very small, and definitely you can see it does not account for someone who is paying a car loan, and it really does not account for someone who is paying somebody if that car is not yours. So if you are getting into this business for your very, very first time, my brother, my sister, plan to buy your own car as soon as possible. Sacrifice the next 1.5 years. Make crazy savings. Cut your expenditures. Live with the bare minimum, but make sure that you get your own car by the next 1.5 years. Otherwise, you will just be a complaining driver, because the pricing as the way they have been set, they cannot satisfy the bank, they cannot satisfy you and another intermediary. No, these prices, the way they are made to satisfy only one person, who is the owner of that car driving it. Okay, so my hope is that all of you get to understand that. All right, because imagine if the prices are set in a way that they satisfy the partner and they satisfy the driver. That means that the car, the rider, will be forced to cough a lot of money for it to be shared among those two people, and then it becomes substantial. Okay, so the only way is for you to get your own car. The second point that I want to advise first timers in this car business: develop patience. And I am telling you, if you are very aggressive in terms of money, you might get things a bit wrong. There are people who wake up to chase the money. They don't wake up to give service. I don't know whether you get my point. When you wake up to put your application on and to ignite your car so that you hit the road, be out there to deliver service to people who want to go around the city. That is the service you are giving. Whatever you are paid for that service, pocket it. By the time you go home in the evening, do your maths. I'm telling you, you will never find that you have made a loss. You might find that you have made a lot of profit or some bit of profit, but one thing I can guarantee you, the way this pricing is set, you will never find yourself making losses. So be very, very patient. Be out there to give the service of delivering people around. Don't be very, very choosy. Don't be very selective. There are drivers who are really, really choosy. Like, they are so strict on which destinations they cannot go. They are so strict about the type of people they cannot carry, and that is what differentiates top earners and the low earners in this business. The moment you start being very choosy, saying that I don't carry people to Eastleigh, I don't carry people to these areas, I'm telling you, maybe that is the trip that holds the destiny for your day. If you reject that trip, the other trips that you receive and take you to destinations that you prefer will turn out to be difficult, will be more challenging than you can even imagine. So me, I tell full-time drivers, if you are out there to be a driver, Just be a driver. Don't choose. If you find yourself in a place that does not have demand, choma, drive to the nearest place that can give you demand and forget about it. At the end of the day, let me tell you, the math will math in the evening. But if you try to make the maths work for each and every trip that you make, you will end up disappointing yourself. You get my point? The other thing that I want to tell first time drivers is that this business is not easy. It is not easy. I don't know, when we were growing up, we were desiring so much to own cars. We were desiring so much to become drivers. But I can tell you, I have come to realize that there is no job that is so tiresome than driving in this city of Nairobi. Being a driver in Nairobi, it's more tiresome than people actually know it. It's actually very, very underestimated. And that's why a lot of drivers are bitter, because the body fatigue is combining to mental fatigue, and also provocation from riders, and maybe sometimes low fares, and other times high cost of petrol. All those factors combined will make a very, very angry driver. So what I tell drivers, if you are coming here for the first time, just know that driving is a very, very tiresome job. And driving in Nairobi, if you have been a long distance driver, these are two different type of driving contexts. People who are driving in Nairobi get tired because you have to navigate, like you have to keep turning your neck around. You have to keep, trying to, you have to keep braking. You have to keep accelerating. You have to keep reversing. Like, you don't have peace. This Nairobi, you have to squeeze your way through very narrow paths. Sometimes you are blocked by the matatu. Sometimes you are angered by the borders. Like, this is a very, very difficult driving environment compared to people who do long distance. Sometimes when I drive home from here all the way to Nyahururu, a 4-hour drive, I don't get tired at all because that's straightforward. You are just accelerating and occasionally using your brakes. It's not like here in Nairobi. Every time your pedal is just, your leg is moving between the pedals. Brake, fuel, brake, acceleration. It's tiresome. So, and if you don't know that, then you will find yourself breaking your back. By the time you go home in the evening, even so many drivers, their wives are complaining at home. They will tell you that it is a tiresome job. So when you get in there, know that you are signing up for a job that is not easy. Okay? So the other thing that I want to encourage you is to just come to reality of this job. I have said this time without number, that taxi driving is made for a certain level of income. So I don't know from which field you are coming from. Maybe you have decided to quit your job to become a taxi driver. But my question to you is, how much money were you making where you are? Were you a mjengo person? Were you a corporate guy? Were you a business person? How much money were you making? And I want to believe that you have done some bit of investigation, you have done a bit of due diligence, you have studied the potential of taxi business, and you have an idea of how much money you can make on average per month. And you have to have a conversation with yourself. You have to ask yourself, will you be happy with that money that you will make at the end of the month? After breaking your back for 8 hours every day for 6 days in a week, you will pocket a maximum of 100,000. If you are lucky, you can make more, but let me say the median will be around 100,000. Are you happy with that money together with the work that comes with it? If you have some doubts, then I advise you to consider something else, because that is the thing. And second thing about this taxi business, it does not have a ladder to climb. This is not a corporate space. No driver will get promotion. No driver will get favors. All drivers are treated the same. Drivers who have been on the road for 5 years, 6 years, they have the same access to trips. They play on the same opportunities like a driver who is joining today. So if you get into this business, the level of work that you put on your first day on this job is the same level of work that you need to maintain even when you have 10 years of experience driving taxis. So you don't have a history to say that I am a taxi driver for Uber for 10 years, hence they will prefer me for trips, they will prefer me for something. No. Trips on that case, they are considered only by your score at any given time. If you are maintaining a 4.9 star out of 5, if you have 3 stars out of 5, it doesn't matter whether you are a 10-year experienced driver or a new driver who is only 1 month. Your rating at any given time, regardless of your experience, is what makes Uber or Bolt or Litrocab treat you slightly a bit more different than the others. There are drivers with Uber, if you have 5 stars and your cancellation rate is a bit less, then they will give you preferential pickups at the airport or any other high demand areas, while other people will be forced to queue. Okay, so this job does not have promotion, it does not have demotions. It's a complete flat level field for everyone to thrive. And that's why some very old drivers, they feel like a new joiner who comes into the space today are facing the same challenges and opportunities like them who have been there for many years. All right, so get in here, be more realistic than theoretical, operate on day-to-day basis, operate on trip-by-trip case, but don't get yourself out of, in a space that you don't know how it works. Ensure that you get all these things in mind so that, when the reality hits, then you will have prepared for it. Thank you.